Oh no! What happened to the camera? Oh, hold on. My bad. Insanity! You know what? Give me just a second. Oh, well, that's pleasant. Well, this is an amazing start to the stream. Okay, let me pause the music for a second. Hi, hello. How are we? I think we're good for the time being. We shall see, apparently. Oh, it's always fun that starts right at the beginning of stream. It kind of takes the wind out of your sails, and then of course I had a cat just roll through here, and I know a pencil rolled off my desk somewhere, so I'm hoping that it is not one that I'm using for this project, or that I have a duplicate somewhere here on my desk. Um, Hi Ryan, hi Sonia, hi Cheryl. Hello. I am not sure what is happening with my cam link, but that's like the second. Let me just make sure that my frame rate is good. That's like the second time that I have booted up, and it has duplicated the source and OBS, and I have to reset it. The last time all I had to do was go in and just I actually had to create a whole new like source on this one. So I'm hoping that my cam link is not burning out, because that would be not good. Because I don't really want to drop another $100 on a piece of equipment that I already have, and of course at this point it's like out of warranty. So I hope you guys are well. It'll probably be a little bit of a shorter stream today. I've got some groceries being delivered later this afternoon, so we'll chill, we'll vibe. We're gonna work on our Chimera again. This is like what, part 4, I think, something to that effect. I'll do this before we start. If Nightbot is... There we go. I have opened my Discord back up, so if you have Discord and you want to join us over there, feel free. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start working. So yeah, I've done a little bit of work on this between last stream and today. Not a whole lot, but just some filling in some color on the body here and trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with this upper part. And I did test out. I wasn't sure how it was going to work, being that I have the color pencil over top of the Inktense, but I did hit a couple of spots with the colorless alcohol marker blender just to smooth things out, and it actually did a pretty nice job. I'm not going to do this over the whole page, but just in a few areas where I felt like it needed it. So yeah, I think I'm going to start working on this middle section here. So I'm going to grab a couple of my colors here. Actually, I think I want more of this. What is this? Deep vermilion. So yeah, we will see how far we get on this today. It's definitely gonna be at least one, probably 2 more streams on this project. And then I need to get back to finishing up the recording for the rooster page from Mythical Beasts, which is almost done. I have one more recording session, I think, for that. I worked on a couple elements off camera. This is the hard part in this crevice here, so I'm gonna have to turn the book. I thought I cracked this spine a little bit better, but apparently I didn't. So we're gonna do the best we can without ripping the rest of the page. Still boggles my mind just how well the Chromaflows and the Inktense match up. I mean, it really shouldn't since they're the same brand of pencils, but it makes sense. When I open, how are ya? Welcome, welcome. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. We are plugging along. When I open, how are ya? Oh my goodness, what is. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Are you, an adult coloring enthusiast yourself? Thank you, thank you. Do you do any art? Love art. Can't do your potential because you're not disabled and have to lay on your side, so it's quite challenging to color that way. Oh, that's unfortunate. I'm very sorry to hear that. I've had to kind of adapt my style and the coloring mediums I use. I have mobility issues in my hands, unfortunately. I used to do quite a bit and actually sold in a pretty prestigious bead shop, but since your surgery, no can do. That is a big bummer. Living a lot of lot of pain every day when your spine will let you. Believe it or not, spinal pain can keep you from picking up a pencil. Oh, I believe it. I have herniated discs in my neck and a pinched nerve in one of my shoulders. It's I don't want to say thankfully, but that's actually on my non-dominant side. but it affects my my left hand. Like nerves in your spine control pretty much your entire body. Never seen this coming. Yeah, life can change in an instant. That is for sure. This, I believe, is part of this rock formation behind here, so I will have to remember what colors I used, and hopefully I can replicate that, although down here at the bottom it would be quite a bit darker anyways, so the majority of this back leg is actually going to be pretty dark. Oh, cat incoming. Bye, Aster. Please don't step on my keyboard. Bye, Aster. Okay, so now I need to some creative liberties here. I do. I do. Hi, Marilyn. Just working, lurking per usual. I appreciate the work, Lurk. Hope your day is going well. Problem is your waist down is severe nerve damage from your spinal cord injury during surgery. So they actually made your condition worse. That's crap, man. Check back in with a bit. I will be here at least for another couple hours. Okay, so So, I'm pretty excited, especially because my... Where are you? Where are you? My replacement Chromaflows are actually in the United States, so I'm pretty excited about that because my licorice pencil is getting a little tiny. So I should have some spares coming. And then I will have some updated info on the Chromaflows for you guys and how I replace them. The plan is to do a video on it. What kind of pencil am I using for my Chromaflows? I am actually using my AFMAT. And it does really well. I can change this from a 6 to a 12 millimeter, like, opening. I have no idea what it's set to, but I have not had any issues with sharpening on these in the AFMAT. And then I don't know where it is, and I haven't used it for a while, but it was my I had a little container and a little metal hand, the tiny little metal pencil sharpener from General's that I used to take with me when I was traveling for work. And I'm pretty sure I've used that for just about all of my pencils and never had any issues with that either. I mean, obviously, when you're hand cranking, you gotta be mindful of that. Hi, Dawn. How are you? And welcome back, Cheryl. You are not the right orange pencil, my friends. The key with the electric sharpeners, and even if you have a like a larger, like, hand crank sharpener, is every once in a while to run a graphite pencil through it, because especially with wax-based pencils, you're gonna get the that wax buildup inside the blades, and usually when that starts happening is when you'll start seeing, like, choppy, like, tearing your pencils apart and things like that. So hate the way it can eat Prismas. I use mine for my Prismas as well. I mean, it does give you this kind of a point, but I feel like especially the updated versions of the Chromaflows have a little bit different of a wood core than the original. Um, let me see if I have... So I actually pulled all of my Chromaflows out of the case because since I'm using them so much, I'm gonna put them in a smaller case that's a little bit easier to fit on my desk. They were in, like, seriously, this thing was like the size of a laptop case and weighs about what a laptop would weigh to carry around. But I have a big giant pencil case that currently holds my Lightfast, my Derwent watercolor pencils, my Inktense, and I think my Pro Colors might be in there. Because that's the case I took with me on the deployment. But I'm fairly certain. So I'm fairly certain this is one of the OG run of the Chromaflows, and I haven't sharpened it, but let me find one that I know is newer. Let me see if I can get this to focus in a nice way so we can actually see it. I don't know if my camera is gonna pick it up, but there's definitely a less refined finish on the blue versus the licorice. So let me run this through my sharpener and see what it looks like when it comes out. So it's smoothed it out, but there does look like there might be some differences in the wood core that they used for some of the newer ones. And I did hear that they refined the formula on it, so, but I haven't really noticed that it's chewing up the pencils, and I am a perpetual sharpener. I like a nice fine point on my pencil, so I probably sharpen more than I need to. Oh no, it's all good. These pencils get I feel like they fall into two camps. People either really love them or they really hate them. There's not a whole lot of middle ground with these. And I think a lot of that is because of the perceived early marketing that they were designed to be a replica and a competitor for the Prismacolors. So I think that kind of set that expectation that they were going to behave like a Prismacolor, and they do not. So I can understand and kind of because I know Corey's not a fan, and I can totally get why she's not a fan. They just don't gel with her coloring style, and that's perfectly fine. I know she's more of a squish versus a layer, and I prefer to layer versus to smoosh. God, that feels so weird. I actually find layering is easier on my hands. And if I had to compare these to another pencil, I would compare them more to the Polychromos than I would a Prismacolor. And so that tends to be the way I use them. Granted, I use my Prismacolors as a layering pencil as well. I don't know. It's weird because for this I've primarily been using the newer colors out of the 78 and the extended range. I think I've pulled a couple of my older pencils out of the case, but I do remember some. Excuse me, got the hiccups. Some earlier projects when they first came out that I wasn't really sure how I felt about them. I felt like they were very, very hard for a wax pencil, and I feel like I probably struggled to blend them myself. It was almost like using the pro colors for just to color like this, and I do feel like this newer batch has a softer feel to them. You got a hair appointment soon? I need to do that at some point too. I'm trying to get through the winter because once the weather gets nice, I'm just gonna chop my hair off again. It's cold there. 6 degrees. Yeah, it's very cold here too. It is currently, oh, it's 11 degrees but feels like -3. So I definitely need to make sure that I add an extra tip for my Instacart. Yeah, New York definitely feeling the cold snap. Using Prismas this morning, just broke the tip using your Jarlink. Oh no. Prismas are the prima donnas of pencils. Oh man, I remember using Prismacolors as a kid. Granted, back then I wasn't really, I won't say I wasn't interested in the quality of my my art supplies, but it definitely as a young person wasn't really like my You hate happiness? Well, that's not good. Why do you, what? I don't really know what to say to that. But it's like, I have nothing against the Prismacolors. I just... I don't know. They just are not my favorite. Just something about the way they feel in my hands. I don't know what it is. I just... Oh, no, it's all good. I wasn't sure if, what was happening there. But sadly, I pick a favorite pencil that I can't get all 150 colors open stock. At least easily. Okay, I'm gonna leave his butt area over here for right now until I start working on our snake, because depending on how I structure my colors on him is gonna depend on my lighting on my goat butt. I think I might end up leaving a lot of... Well, I feel like... I need to bring some of this. Oh, of course. Alright, Afmat, I talked nice about you, and then you go and eat my pencil? Thanks. Kid was reading Romeo and Juliet in school, so we saw the 1968 movie last night, and in class they're watching the 1996 DiCaprio, and he hates the new version. Aw. I remember, I'm pretty sure we did the same thing. We watched both of them. Or we watched the Leonardo DiCaprio one, and we saw clips of the other one. A bad porn comedy mix? Oh. Oh. So I'm guessing then your kiddo is a high school student. I'm trying to remember, did they do that in junior high or high school? Because Joe hasn't come home and really said anything about any Shakespeare in his ELA classes. Not that he, like, talks to me anyways. High school in Florida. Oh, okay, so our kids are the same age then. I also have a ninth grader. But they restructured our school systems here, so ninth grade is in the junior high buildings. Color me surprised when, well, I wasn't surprised when, because they're starting to pick classes for next year. And so I was asking Joe about, like, if he'd given any thought to, like, what he wants to do, and in terms of, like, college, and right now he doesn't think he wants to go to college, and oh lord, he's like, well, kind of thinking about the military, and I was like, oh, it was a came out of left field type moment. But well, I'm sure it came out of left field for my mom when I came home and was like, yeah, I'm gonna go meet with the recruiter. Granted, that was like 4 months after we invaded Iraq. So her choice of words was, choosing electives is hard. It is. I'm hoping that Joe takes advantage of. I think it's junior and senior year here. We have a continuing education center that partners with the school district, and the juniors and seniors can spend like half of their day at the learning center, like auto repair, computer science, hospitality, culinary, and they come out of it with like certifications. So he shows some interest in cooking, and I thought that would be good for him, because he really just is not. He just doesn't enjoy the school environment, so I thought maybe if he did something that felt like he was working towards something, because he'd come out of it with like his food safe cert, and he wouldn't have to be in school for half of a day, that he might enjoy something like that. But they seem to be a lot better in this school about giving them all of their options and helping them pick the option that's like the best for them, and not just you gotta go to college, because that was the reason that I went to community college for 3 semesters first, because that was what was pushed on me, and um that was just what you do. And I wasn't ready for college at that point. And thankfully it was community college, so I wasn't dropping a crap ton of money on student loans at that point. But um yeah, no one really like talked to me about, well, do you want to learn a trade, or, hey, the military. And there was a period of time where um the recruiters, like, I remember at one point the recruiters used to come to the school, and then for a while they stopped. And so I had originally thought about it when I was graduating, but I couldn't figure out where the recruiter in our area was, and nobody else seemed to know either. So I kind of tabled it, and just, my mom was like, well, you can stay here rent free as long as you are going to school, but if you choose to, like, not go to college, then you're gonna have to work and pay rent. And then I ended up working and going to school at the same time, and I just, like, $5.15 an hour, and all my money went to pay for my car. And I lived in a really tiny little town, and it just felt like this is not the way out of this place. So things happened, the world changed, and my original intent was to just do 4 years and get the benefits for college, and to do some of my schooling while I was actually in the military, because, of course, naive, the recruiter is like, oh yeah, you'll be able to do you can go to school while you're in. And, like, what I wanted to do at that point, or what I thought I wanted to do, would have required me to actually do in-person class, and get to my first base, and they're like, oh yeah, we're getting ready to come off of 5 on 2 off 12-hour shifts, and go back to 4 and 3 12s, and you're probably gonna be on night shift. Oh, and you're gonna deploy in like 7 months, so we gotta fast track your training and whatnot. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? What did I do? And I shipped out about 7 months after I got to my first base. And then, of course, by the time you come up for re-enlistment, and you're like, man, I didn't really do what I set out to do, so it's like, let's just re-enlist for another 4 years, see where we're at. And then it's like, the farther you get into it, and the closer you get to that benchmark of that 20 year retirement, the harder it gets to leave. And the same thing happened, when I was in Germany, and I got rolled up in a force shaping, they call it, where they're overmanned. They have too many in certain career fields, too many of certain ranks, uh, and I had some things happen, and they're like, if you take this initiative and you leave on your own, we will give you a substantial sum of money plus a multiplier for volunteering, and if we don't meet our numbers, then we're just gonna start booting people anyways for less money. So I took the money, but then in the course of that, I met with a reserve recruiter, and they're like, oh, $15,000 sign-on bonus, you go to the reserves. And I was halfway done. And so I was like, you know what? what's 10 more years and an extra $15,000? And I mean, it goes by a lot quicker in the reserves because you're not doing it every day, but. Bye, Dawn. Have fun at your hair appointment. Let's see. I work full time and studied full time, living at home. With your now husband's family made it through undergrad and law school, but it wasn't easy. Virtual online learning is more acceptable now than 10 to 20 years ago when there was a stigma to online learning. Not everybody is geared for the online environment though. Like it's tough. Cuz I did it for a little while I was in Germany cuz there was no way that they were going to like let me like leave work to take a class. It was at one of the busiest aerial ports in the world, so even asking for any kind of accommodation and you get the side eye. Kids need a degree certificate of some sort nowadays for job opportunities, and it's a lot of pressure. Life is very expensive, so they need to work to fund basic living. Yeah, I'm hoping that if he decides he's not ready for college, that he pursues a trade opportunity. You know, and sad as it is to say, maybe the military would be the best option for him. Part of me regrets, part of me regrets, and part of me does not regret. So, I actually still have money left on my post 9/11 GI Bill. And when I came in, it was before the post 9/11 GI Bill. So it was the Montgomery GI Bill, and I paid money into it each month for the first 12 months of my contract. So I still have that I could use. And I have contemplated going back and getting my bachelor's in supply chain management. I have two associate's degrees right now, one in logistics, and then I have one in theater. And I had the opportunity when I was at about 15, 16 years. Oh, man, they changed the rules around all the time where I could have transferred the remainder of my benefit to Joe. And I had contemplated it, but at that point I wasn't sure I was going to stay in, and I would have had to commit to another four years, I think. And then I've heard so many stories of parents who pass that benefit on to their kids, and it comes with stipulations. So you get a housing allowance as long as you maintain a full course load, and you um you pass your classes with, I think, like a C, a 75 or above. um but if you withdraw from any classes, or if you are at risk for not passing any of your classes, something like that happens, you have to repay that housing allowance. And so uh there were parents who passed this benefit on, and their kids fiddly farted around and ended up in situations where they had to pay that back. And so then I was like, that's my benefit. I earned that. I worked my butt off. And like, of course there is part of me that feels guilty, but then there's part of me that's like, you know, I don't know. I don't want to get into the whole like, oh well, I had to struggle, so I want my kid to struggle, because I think, you know, as parents, we always want better for our kids than what we thought we had, but okay. So I think that's a good point for a quick break. So I've got cats circling around in my office. Feeding time at the zoo. So I'm gonna go feed the cats and check on a couple things real quick. I'm gonna put the music back on, put the BRB screen back on for you guys, and then we'll come back and we'll jump back into our project. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I just needed to make sure Aluso ate the majority of his food before I walked away. Most of the time, the others won't touch his food because it's a hydrolyzed diet, and but he also gets medication, and I have to switch up what meal I give him the medication with, because eventually he catches on and he will stop eating um he'll stop eating all of his food. Okay, this was the song with the weird beeps that tripped me out. We're gonna skip that one. Let me go back. Ryan said something like that. I think it should be earned and not entitled to. Yeah. Yeah. Or, like, dang, you better prove to me that you're not gonna, like, piss away the benefit, you know? I am, fairly certain that, that happened with one of my cousins and my uncle. That's the other nice thing about these pencils, is that you can almost use them if you're light-handed to glaze over top of other colors. So, like, I want that orange to show through, but I feel like I need a little something over the top. I'm gonna look at my reference photo real quick. Granted, they're all facing in different directions in that than what I'm working with, but I'm just trying to figure out the best course of action for the body section in the middle here. There's actually quite a bit more green in my reference photo in this section, so you know what? I'm going to take a break from this middle section here, and I'm actually going to start working on our serpent. try and see how I want to tackle this. Okay, so I think down here is probably going to be more of the brown. Okay, so I'm going to maybe go through, and I'm not going to color all of these scales, although I may end up having to do this one on camera because it is kind of hard to see. But I'm going to do enough to just kind of provide some visual interest. Because if I was to color every single one of these and shade every single one, we would be working on this image for the next, like, 20 years. So these, I'm gonna come back and forth to, like, doing some of the scales and whatnot. I'm not gonna sit here for the next 45 minutes and dot all of these. So it'll be when I need a break from another section and a lot of off camera, but that's kind of what it's gonna end up looking like, is I'm just gonna go through, and I probably will do it with a couple different colors. I'm just gonna go through and just randomly kind of, like, dot in some of the scales just to bring some interest to it. Hi, K-Art. Welcome. Thank you for the kind comment. I'm just kind of taking a minute and reassessing my choices here. It's good to sit back and like look at your project. I'm still trying to decide whether or not I want to incorporate more green up through here. So if I lighten up my pressure coming through here, I can still add in some of this brown and kind of glaze it over top of the other colors without completely like covering over the yellow and the orange. Just trying to decide what in here. So this would be... that will actually give me a little bit of visual separation between the serpent and this leg, even though this is probably set perspective wise a fair bit farther back than our serpent is, but just the way it's laid out on the paper. And I can still use some of this green down here. So when you're doing a piece like this and you're kind of going with a bit more of an abstract, I don't even know what you would call it. It's not really abstract. I guess like more of a non-standard kind of aesthetic. You kind of have to work in pieces to figure out how you want your various elements to overlap. So that's kind of why I bounce back and forth. And it's hard too because you have to kind of take some creative liberties with determining in your own mind the distance between your objects. So you could look at this as like just a flat one-dimensional image on the paper, which is perfectly fine. But then when you start thinking about what's going to cast shadows on what's blocking what, I've got like a sky back here, and trying to determine how that's going to affect my background elements, and kind of make up in my mind how far away from these pillars in the background is my creature, because that's gonna kind of determine what I do with these. So it's kind of colored now like the Chimera is front and center of the page, which it is. But since I've added in all of this flame and fire in the background, it's going to change how I interpret what these are going to look like. Because obviously we're going to see the fire, but if we're looking through it at our background, does that even make sense? So what is our background gonna look like without completely canceling out our fire elements here, I guess, would be the I mean, in reality, there's really no wrong way to do it. It's all based on your own interpretation anyways. Like, trying to explain it in words is hard, but in my head it makes sense. I'm trying to remember if butterscotch is one of the new 150 and if I ordered another butterscotch pencil. Because if not, I'm going to be a little sad. Stardust, how are ya? How's your day going? Oh, give me just a second. I'll be right back. I gotta go put my bins out for my groceries. And I'll move that back so you guys can look at it while I'm gone. Okay, I'm back. Okay. All right. I'm liking how our serpent is coming out so far. He's going to need some work. But oh my goodness. Thank you so much for the super chat, Stardust. I super appreciate it. Oh, hold on a second. Can I actually... Wait, hold on. Send a heart. Thank you so much. I super appreciate that. Can I click on this? I can click on this. Spin the emote. I hope your day is going well. I just got goodies delivered. Well, yes. I ordered some, dairy-free, like, pretzel snacks. And apparently those got delivered, and I didn't even realize it until I went out to put my bins out for my, my Instacart. Because I'm having my groceries delivered today. Oh, that, like, don't say that it's not much, because one, I don't expect people um, to provide monetarily to the channel. So anything that anybody gives is obviously very appreciated. But it is much appreciated, which I also just said. Day going well, but just waking up, fell asleep around 3. Oh. That's a bummer. I was up at like 3. Compliments of hungry cats. I need another playlist. Or is this the same playlist I had? It might be the same playlist I had. What else? What else? Hey, losing daytime, can't wait for summer, I need sun and heat. I'm ready for spring. I am over the cold, but I don't need like boiling hot. Compliments of an overactive thyroid. Oh, sorry, I was just checking my grocery order. Making sure that they weren't sending me any messages about anything that needed to be replaced. Minus 17C plus wind factor, some coloring comfy on your sofa. Just got Magical Woodland and trying to find a page to do. Who's Magical Woodland by? I feel like I've seen the book before, but I can't remember off the top of my head. hope this doesn't ruin this. I'm gonna try it because I don't like that little, like... Man, I don't like that little, like... splurgle of brown there. I'm not gonna be able to fix it. Finished your raven picture. Is that in the Magical Woodland book? And now you're just picking another page from it to work on? What didn't you like about it? Because I didn't like this when I started it. I think I have progress pictures from just about the start of this. So maybe once it's done, I'll do like a time lapse on Instagram of the start to finish. Raven, from Christine Karen. Ah, gotcha. What didn't you like about it? About how it turned out? Try to color Raven and turn out too blue, and Amazon paper was saturated, so can't add more color. Ah, are you working with alcohol markers? Black objects can definitely be really difficult to color. Shoveling McDonald's in your face. Nice. Hi. Hello, BB. How are you? Good to see you. It's been like many moons. But I'm glad you found your way over here. Now I'm stuck with a blue Raven, did the basin marker, but didn't want to lose the detail in the black, so... That's fair. Doing good, been a long time. Glad you're able to get here. Well, I'm glad that you were able to find us over here, too. And thank you. I appreciate the kind compliments. Oh, this is gonna be funky back here. But what have you been up to? I'm guessing busy with work. Got a full-time job at Walmart and today's orientation day. Ooh. Congrats. Okay, I gotta turn the book here. Apologies. But it's easier to do this with the book turned. Oh, I'm debating whether or not I need to find a more opaque set of pencils to do some of the darker areas on this. I could bust out my Color Soft. I'm not gonna do that right now. let me... So, you want to be real careful when you, if you use the alcohol blender to smooth out your colored pencils. Do not go over the same area like multiple times. At least on the first pass, because really, like, you'll just lift up the pencil and it'll start to look really, really funky. So resist the urge to go in hot with the alcohol blender. It'll do weird things. And don't scrub at it. Especially because I'm using two different types of pencils. And so if I haven't quite gotten enough of the colored pencil down and any of my Inktense underneath wasn't fully activated, it'll activate the Inktense, which really in this instance isn't a huge deal because of the kind of vibe that I'm going for. So, but, and then don't immediately attempt to go back over it with your colored pencil. wondering, although it is about that time. Hmm. Hi, Soup. How are ya? Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. It's good to see you. I'm actually just about to wrap up for the day. I'm just trying to get his mouth done. Yeah, we did quite a bit. I worked a little bit on this section in here and down at the bottom. And then I was having trouble like visually with what I wanted to do with the body in here, so I kind of shifted gears and moved over to start working on the snake. So I was talking about it a little bit earlier, but it's kind of like you have to work in pieces and kind of bounce back and forth, because your lighting color choices on one are gonna affect your choices on another piece. So I kind of have to move back and forth a little bit. Chilling with your coffee and about to have lunch. Nice. I'm just trying to get to a good stopping point because my groceries will be here soon. I think I need to do some work up here around some of these flames. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And then, of course, a bunch of blending. And I might have to pull out another set of pencils that's a little more opaque, because there's some areas that I want darker than I feel like I'm getting with these pencils. So And then I'll have to work on the top here a little bit. But I think it's in a good stopping point. Said I woke up late and missed the stream. Oh, it's all good. There's no on time for... I don't expect people to be here at, like, right when it starts. And I am ending a little bit earlier today than I normally would. I would probably go for another hour, but since I've got groceries coming and some laundry I gotta finish up, it's a bit shorter of a stream today. Plus, I'm just kind of trying to figure out what I want to do next. I feel like I need to bring some more of this green up here a little bit, but also, I don't know, I might add a few little, like, pieces in here, but then I kind of need to do the same, like, up around the flames around here. And you know what? It's good because now that I am, like, far enough into the project, I feel like shorter bursts are better, because realistically, I'd say I have maybe a few hours left on this, but it gets a little tougher as you go to because one, I don't want to rush it just to finish it and then screw it up because I've put a lot of work into it. So I'm kind of at that point where I have to regulate myself, or else I will just start, like, trying to bang it out, and I don't want to do that. And it's good to step away and come back and look at it, because then you see things that you didn't see the first go. So you gotta let it marinate, let it live in itself for a little while before I do anything else to it. And then how many color hours, plan hours have I invested? Oh boy, I can actually, so let's look at this. I can actually give you a roundabout. Where are you, dashboard? So we'll say 6, 8. So, I'm roughly, I'd say, about 11 hours put into it just from the stream today and the 3 previous streams. And then I would say I probably put maybe 3 hours, here and there into it, like off camera. Plan wise, I'd say the initial like pass through, maybe about a half an hour just to pull my pencils and get kind of like a rough idea of what I wanted to do. So maybe 15 hours or so ish. Working on the cupcake. I saw your cupcake. Semi-realistic, and your back and body can only take so much. Yeah. Go 3+ hours with some jazz playing in the background. That's honestly, that's about my limit. I like to keep the streams to about that long. And then, you know, a few minutes here or there, like if it's sitting on my desk and I'm doing something else and I see a spot where I'm like, oh, I should throw some of this here, or oh, hey, that could be blended out a little bit better. But I'd say probably at this point about 15 hours. Now, if I had attempted to do this with just colored pencils, I wouldn't even be like this. I'd probably say maybe like a chunk over here. If I hadn't based it in the Inktense, yeah, we definitely wouldn't be as far along as we are. But I've kind of tried to, for similar reasons, it's hard on the body, shy away from the marathon coloring sessions, because then eventually I hit a point where it stops being fun and it just becomes grindy, and I don't want it to not be fun. So I have to self-regulate, and I am alternating back and forth between this and my rooster, which he's actually almost done. I recorded a little bit more for this project, and I probably will I'll finish this up, and then I'll record doing the other 2 thuribles, and then I had an idea for this weird looking smoke. So I'd say I've got probably another half an hour to 45 minutes of work to record the last little bit of this, and then of course I have to edit it. So I'd say maybe 5 to 6 hours of editing, give or take, and then depending on how much I can get it cut down to, however long it takes me to script and record a voiceover for it. It gives you a chance to look at it with a more distant view by taking breaks in between. Yes, very important to take breaks. I was actually watching a 1000 video where they were talking about like art hacks, and he had some other people from the art community, and one of the artists he had on mentioned that it was really important for her to take breaks and then look at the image from like different perspectives. So like prop it up and look at it from across the room, turn it upside down, turn it on its side, take photos of it. Because when you're staring just at the page, it looks a certain way, but then when you step back and you look at it from a distance or whatever, you might realize, holy crap, I completely missed blending like half of the page out. So gives you a chance to look at it with more distance. It feels grindy. If it feels grindy, I give 15 more minutes. Yeah, that's good. And limiting how many projects you're working on at a time definitely helps, because I've noticed if I have too many, one, my desk gets cluttered, especially if I'm working with multiple mediums, and even putting them in like little trays to separate them. If I can't finish them in a reasonable amount of time, I end up with half of my pencils in trays taking up space on my desk. So I really tried to limit myself to two like active projects at a time. And since I'm finishing this one on stream and I'm using essentially the same pencils for them, it's been fairly simple to come back and forth between the two of them. But it's kind of gonna be, if I'm using the Artex pencils for one project, my other project I'm gonna use the Artex pencils. So I just have one set of pencils out on my desk at a time. And then obviously, if I'm using markers or whatever, I have the little things on my desk. But it's helped me to keep a little bit better of a balance and not feel so like claustrophobic about my desk looking like a freaking Michael's store exploded. And then I may have one more like smaller project in between those, like easy stuff, like a flip through, or once I get my replacement Chromaflow pencils, because I won't need a bunch of stuff, I can work on those in between. And your mind gets cluttered with the whips and being pulled in too many different directions. Yeah. Analysis paralysis, sticking to 1 to 2, one to relax and unwind, and another to challenge me. That's a good way to look at it too. Yeah, that's frequently what my desk looks like. Like, Blick walked in here and just chucked their entire inventory. But then some of it too is what I've been doing is like with this project, I'm not recording the whole thing. So like there's 5 of these little things on here. I did most of these off camera, and then I will record these for the video. But if there's multiple elements, I'm not gonna record all of them, because then it's just more I have to cut and edit. So I've tried to pick certain things that I'm like, okay, well, I just spent 30 minutes working on this tail and did a bunch of blending, and it still needs more blending. I'm not gonna record that, because then it's more slog that I have to work through when I'm editing. And kind of my workflow right now when I edit is because I use Filmora, and I record right into Filmora from my camera. So hold on a second, and I think I can show you guys my dashboard. Give me just a second and let me see if I have this open. And I can kind of show you how it's set up. Saved on storage space. Well, yes and no. Um, it keeps my files in a workspace in the program, but I still save a working copy, because then if my computer crashes and it's not saved on my hard drive, it won't save them into the app. So I usually have a working file, and then the final, like, ready for upload file. But I just put an 8 terabyte hard drive in this PC, so I'm not at this moment concerned about space. But let me show you guys kind of. I think I can do this. Okay, so let us add a window capture. Okay, so this is kind of, it might be kind of hard to see, but this is, kind of the media, like, workspace up here. So every time I record, I don't know if my cursor is going to show up. So every time I record, I can save the footage, and it'll do it by, like, the date and the time, so I'll know which one, like, goes in what order. But if I have B-roll, I can label the B-roll, rename it, so I have an idea of, like, what it is and where I want to find it, to make it easier to pull down into my timeline. And I think this is currently, like, the only editing program that actually allows you to record right into the program. I had looked at a couple other programs that are a little bit more higher end. Like, I think it's what is it? I can't remember what Adobe's editing program is called. But for those, you record directly onto, like, your SD card on your camera, and then pull your footage in and work with it that way. The only problem is I don't have a mic input on my current camera, so if I'm doing a tutorial and I'm speaking, like, on the spot, it's not gonna pick up. I'd have to find another way to to record at the same time as I've got the camera going. It'd be really weird, and it just seemed like, for my skill set at this point, a little more complicated than I want. So I can go up here, and I've got the option to record from my webcam. And since I have the Elgato Cam Link that's connecting my camera to the computer, it's not going to do it right now, since you can only have one use, and I'm currently using the camera. But I can record from my webcam here. I can record my PC screen here. So if I've got an upcoming video that I need something off of a web browser, I can record myself doing that off the browser, save it into my my workspace. And then kind of what I like to do is I will set up my intro screen. I'll pull that down onto the timeline just so it's there, and then I'll pull one piece of footage down and edit it at a time. And I'll usually do, like, the chip and chop, where I go through and cut out all of the places where I was sharpening a pencil, or somebody came into my office to talk to me, or I stopped to pause on the project to, like, take a look at it. So all of that, like, dead space, I'll cut that out. And then I can either take all of those little mini clips and turn them into like a compound clip, which makes my timeline less cluttered. And then it keeps me from sitting here and editing for like a million hours at a time because it's tedious and my least favorite thing to do. So I do all that first, and then I'll go back and I'll start looking at adding uh, keyframes. Brain fart. Keyframes. So I'll start going back in and I'll add in my keyframes where I need to like zoom in or move the footage one way or another on the screen. Um, and then if I'm gonna add any special effects or any text or anything like that, I might kind of like soft block in like where I want it on another layer of my timeline, and then once all of my footage is condensed down and I have all my keyframes, I start going through and doing a bunch of like other like little nitpicky things. And then of course it's a lot of like back and forth, like watch the footage, cut the footage, watch the footage again. Is the cut like, does the cut look natural? So like if my hand is here and then all of a sudden my hand is like here, it's, yeah, that's kind of my workflow for how I do this. Like it's it is definitely a process, and I'm always looking to like fine tune it and learn, different skills and things like that. I feel like my editing is really basic, and I've tried a few things and they haven't really worked. And then depending on how I'm formatting the video, I will either film all of the footage first and then do the voiceover, or if I'm talking through it, I will talk and then I'll rearrange and add my B-roll in, and you know, all that fun crap. But yeah, that's, we kind of segued a little bit, but yeah, that's pretty basic, how I edit my videos. And now I gotta edit over here and oh, what did I do? Okay, there we go. And then yeah, and then in between, I just make sure that I save a working copy, because then everything will be as I left it. Okay, so now I am definitely going to end the stream because my groceries just got delivered, so I gotta go get those off my porch. So hopefully you guys found that interesting. It's cool. I've never really shared like the background of how I actually edit my videos. So it was neat to be able to kind of give you guys a glimpse into what my process is like. So yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I super appreciate it. Let me go ahead and plug the Discord. If you're interested, I do have a Discord. I've recently opened it back up. Hopefully Nightbot will catch up. Feel free to join us over on the Discord. So um wow, brain fart. So yeah, feel free to join us on Discord. If you need to upgrade your PC, I can highly recommend Lenovo. I have the same rig that I have been using since 2017 ish. 2017, 2018. And this thing is a beast. They usually in the summer when they're clearing out their previous year's inventory will do some pretty like decent discounts on the previous year's models. And I mean, I know technology is always a step ahead, but don't be afraid to buy something that's not like the up and coming current model, because a lot of their PCs are upgradable, so you can do stuff with it down the line. Yeah, this thing is a beast. And I bought one of the Legion laptops before my last deployment, and that environment is very rough on electronics, and it didn't serve me well while I was over there. So I'm a fan. Like I said, I just put an 8 terabyte hard drive in this thing, and then I had to replace another one. But that's really the biggest issue that I've had with it. And hard drives fail, so. But yeah, I'm gonna stop yapping. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Hi Sonia. I hope your day was good. Yeah, keep an eye out. I'm hoping to do some more evening streams. Probably not this week, but a couple times a month, maybe work something in the evening for those of you that work during the day. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you.